Thank you very much, John. Thank you. Well, good afternoon, everybody. Boy, I tell you, I'm really humbled with this size of crowd. I was nervous to begin with. Now it's a whole other story. Well, we're going to get through this. So first, I want to, of course, say hello to everyone and welcome to the 2025 Rock Island State of the City Address. I'm Mayor Mike Thoms, as John said, and I'm honored to be here today. I'm excited to tell everyone about some of the progress the city has made in 2024 and what we can look forward in 2025. But first, I'd like to recognize some of the elected officials and some dignitaries in the audience. So we do have, and I guess I can read them here, but Mayor Bob Gallagher of Bettendorf, East Moline, Reggie Freeman. We do have a former mayor of Davenport, Frank Clips, good friend of mine. And actually, we also have a couple county. We have Scott County Board Chairman John Maxwell, Scott County Supervisor Ken Beck, and then representing State Representative Greg Johnson, L. Peoples, for Greg Johnson, L. Peoples, sorry about that. But then also representing State Senator Halpin is Rachel Lund. So, we have a number of city administrator and county administrators in the building also, and thank you for what you guys do. I also would like to recognize our city council. We have a first ward, Moses Robinson, which I don't think he could make it, he had work commitment. Second ward, Alderman Randy Hurt. Third ward, Alderman Randy Tweet. Fourth ward, Alderwoman Jenny Swanson, which also had to work. Fifth ward, Alderman Dylan Parker. Sixth ward, Alderman Mark Poulos. And seventh ward, Alderman Bill Healy. So thank you for I'd also like to recognize and thank the department directors of the City of Rock Island, who along with their dedicated staff, get so much done to move Rock Island forward. And I can't say this enough, they work very hard, and our whole staff. Could the directors of the City of Rock Island please stand for a second? Appreciate that. We have a number of them in the room. Thank you. I would also like to thank D-Films for live streaming this and recording it today so it's available to others in the future. Get the right page here. Actually, before I start this next slide, I got to call out somebody. There are a few dignitaries in the room, as I talked about. But I want to thank them for being here. But I want to call out one, and that's Decker Plain is here. City Administrator of Bettendorf. Now, he usually calls me out in a number of rooms. Usually it's to help raise money, but yeah, to get my, that's right, to get my money. But I want to recognize him. He has just recognized 50 years of employment with the City of Bettendorf. That's a long time. I always tell the story part of it with that he took a couple weeks off to try to be a banker, and that didn't work, so went back to Bettendorf. Yeah, let's move on. No, because I want to do one more, is that I talked to your wife, and she says she wants you to keep working because she enjoys being home without you. You know, the other person, and this I'd like to recognize actually is my wife, Sarah. She was helping me with this speech, I think. She's helping me with this speech. She didn't even know I'm saying this. And and she told me, she goes, you know, you have a tendency to talk too much and too long. So she says, why don't you just say thank you to everybody for all that they've done the last year and do it again next year with a little bit more. And I thought about it and I said, no, I need to say more. So now you got to put up with me for a little while. But with moving on, with that, as you can see on this slide, and as John Phillips talked about, we continue to grow and have a number of partners. You can call it a lot of different things, but I look at it as partners. The Quad City Chamber, and I'll get into it a little later, but some of their role and involvement with the downtown and other activities. Visit Quad Cities, helping us get grants and build tourism. The Rock Island Arsenal, quick deviate from my speech, is with this one, it's a win-win, and we've all heard the win-wins before. The federal government now can bid out work locally. We save the federal tax dollars, and it puts extra revenue in the city's coffers. So it's a great win for everybody. Rock Island Downtown Alliance, a fairly new organization, work very close with. DARI, as John mentioned before, working with development in Rock Island. Augustana, Andrea's here. And boy, I'll tell you, it's been a great relationship since I've been here, and all the different projects we work together on and will continue in the future. Friends of Douglas Park, if you haven't seen Douglas Park lately, drive down there. After the last couple of years, some major differences. Over $1 million of private funds raised in that park with a private-public partnership. Friends of Longview Park, a brand new one, is working. They're working on the greenhouse up there at the park and rehabbing that and turning it around. Friends of Hallberg Civic Center, if you haven't been there, great building that they've worked on restoring and making useful. So we want to continue these partnerships. All right, reinvesting in Rock Island. It's kind of our theme today. Ian talked about it, and John talked about it. The city staff and council have worked hard to stretch the tax dollars as far as they can go, even by leveraging it to receive grant dollars from the federal government, the state government, to be able to do larger projects and more projects. The vision has always been to help build a healthy, happy, strong community and a growth in the community. We also need to stay flexible and plan for the future. Reinvesting through economic development, very important factor. A good example of this, we used a little over $1 million of ARPA funds to develop several program strategies to help businesses expand and grow employment. With this, it resulted in over $16 million of private investment. So once again, a small amount turns into a large amount. As you can see, we have more private dollars being invested with current projects and projects that we know are coming, and the year is just starting, so I'm sure there's more to be able to add to this list and dollars to be looked at. To be prepared for the future, we need to assemble sites, have a strategy, and build relationships with entrepreneurs, real estate brokers, investors, etc. We have a new tool in our toolbox, that's River's Edge. The biggest advantage we have here, we've had the enterprise zone for a number of years, but with River's Edge, this gives us one more tool to be able to utilize historic tax credits. Very important. We have a lot of old buildings. They're expensive to renovate and make feasible to be productive. And so this will be a great tool to be able to use in 2025, along with other advantages that those have, with the sales tax exemptions, et cetera. So we're looking forward to that and developing those boundaries as we speak. Investing in the community. We worked on two public facilities and put a new roof on the central fire station, installed ADA accessible sidewalks at Hodge Park, using CDBG, Community Development Block Grant funds, to help 3 nonprofit organizations, Narratives Quad City for mental health, the YWCA for their empowerment center, and the MLK Community Center after school and summer programs. Very important, not just for economic growth, but to help grow the citizens of Rock Island. Rehab and homes. Year after year, we've used the state and federal funds to be able to rehab homes for people, to help put a new roof on their house, new windows, doors, porches, ramps for handicap, etc. We did 50 of those this last year. Inspections and rentals. Continue to work on making sure that we are keeping all the rental homes safe for the renters. Demolition of blight. We actually, and this says one commercial building, but I know of 3 commercial buildings that were demoed in 2024 that had blight and were unsafe, along with a number of homes. And this helps create a safer neighborhood, increases the value of the neighbor around us, and the curb appeal doesn't hurt either. Investing in historical preservation and housing. City of Rock Island's got some years on it. There's a lot of old homes. We want to continue to help those survive. And so what we've done is there is 3 different historical districts. Downtown and Broadway, and then another part of downtown. But this allows the homeowners to be able to possibly have access to dollars for historic tax credits. It's make sure that these homes are kept in the historic value and look. We want to preserve history the best we can. You can see there's a number of homes that are built between 1918 and 1919 even. The city has created its first ever housing plan in efforts to promote new housing development. We've just actually finished up part of that housing plan that City Council heard the results of, and we're working on that to expand that to the whole city, not just affordable housing. It's going to be for market rate and everything, the whole city, and what that plan should look like. And where do we need to expand? And so that will be completed later this year. Rock Island Downtown Alliance. Talked about it a little bit last year, but this is still a new organization that is doing wonderful things. We started at SSA, which is Special Service Area, a year or so ago. Was established, and then the public-private financed with an independent board in place to oversee this area. And the area is basically from Centennial Bridge to the Government Bridge, from the river up to 7th Avenue, roughly. So it's a pretty good sized area. It's not just the downtown. What this does is generate funds to be able to do projects and keep some of the improvements that we're making sustainable. With this, a contract was put in place with the Quad City Chamber, partnering to be the placemaker. The board chose Jack Cullen, employee of the chamber, to be the executive director of this board and manage the area that we have outlined. They perform a number of services that I'll get into in a minute. But it's a great organization and a positive movement for the downtown area. As you can see, they have a mission statement and trying to work with the special service area to enhance public spaces, encourage private investment, and improve the quality of life downtown. Rebuild downtown. Man, what an exciting project. It's caused some headaches for some people, there's no doubt about it, but it is a major undertaking that the city has taken. The $9.3 million Rebuild Downtown Rock Island project is being funded with a number of different areas. $3 million from the State of Illinois Rebuild Downtown Grant, $3.9 million from the ARPA funds, $1.5 million in TIF funds, and $267,000 in state tourism funds. Thank you, Visit Quad Cities, again, with that partnership in part. That project includes, if you've been downtown or seen on TV, there's quite a few areas, and we'll see some videos here in a second to give an idea of what it looks like. But the total reconstruction and streetscaping is around 4 blocks. Decorative lighting will be in place, landscaping, 2 large-scale murals in Arts Alley that we'll be taking a look at, 10 new outdoor patio areas for existing restaurants. We've widened, in this you'll see that we've widened the sidewalks, 22 foot wide in some areas, to be able to allow for cafe seating. Conversion of a parking lot on 2nd Avenue and 18th Street into a green space for recreational and special events. Installing a mini roundabout. Boy, there's a controversy once in a while on Facebook, isn't it? roundabouts. Bettendorf has got it knocked. Rock Island's now putting their toe in the water with it. But you'll see, it's a tiny one. And so it's just more of a landmark than it is anything else. But it'll be fun to be able to say that we have one. I think there's some more to come in the future. But so let's take a look at some aerial footage of the project along 18th Street. And the beginning, it'll show the beginning of the project and as it stands now, which is not complete, but as it stands now. This is 18th Street. You can see that we're basically tearing up from storefront to storefront, not just the street. We replaced the water and sewer. Here it is today. You can see the roundabout there. We'll get another view of it. But we're completing the sidewalks, doing a little decorative pattern on the sidewalks, more pedestrian-friendly lights. This next video will show a little different view of it. I suppose I should give credit to who did this drone deal. It was my brother. I shamed him into doing a little drone work for us. He lives downtown, by the way, and so there'll be an archway there, entrance into the downtown. You can see the roundabout there. We're going to take a little left here and head down 2nd Avenue, where it used to be a pedestrian mall. Now it is back to a street, but there's no curbs on the sidewalk to allow it to be like a mall for events. So let's do another quick little runabout here. Obviously, we're proud of this. It's a major project, so. But you see the decorative lighting. There's the roundabout. How about that? Huh? They know how to do it. This is no AI. This is real life. The archway will be there, headed towards Streetwear Park, where there's a lot of activities. How about that, huh? Well, then we got a rendering, a new reality, Arts Alley. And once again, John will remember this. There used to be a building here that burnt down. And they actually made it an alley to be able to hook the riverfront to the downtown area. And we've then picked up the name of Arts Alley because it's right next to Quad City Arts and there's a lot of activities happening there. So a total budget for the improvements to Arts Alley is just over $534,000, with half of the project being funded by $267,000 state tourism money. Once again, thank you, Visit Quad Cities. The city is funding the remaining cost with a combination of TIF money and ARPA money. Hundreds of artists from around the country applied to be one of the 2 artists chosen. The list was narrowed down to 10 finalists. After polling the public, voting on it, the 2 artists chosen were Nicole I'll get this bit, it'll get me. I tried practicing it, but Slager of Miami, and Alana Dawn of the Quad Cities, a local artist. So now let's take a look at a time-lapse video of the murals being painted and what it looks like when it's finished. Who would have think you could use spray paint and do this kind of art, right? Normally you see graffiti. Beautiful stuff. Spray paint and regular paint, but quite a talent to be able to have that vision. As you can see, the collaboration. There was collaboration with Quad City Arts also and the Downtown Alliance. And thanks for the video, Jack. Appreciate that. Oh, we got another. Oh, we got the pop-up shops in this video. You can see that we've also added some pop-up shops that were very popular this winter. People were able to rent those for just one day and show their wares. Lagamasinos was one. There was another clothing store. I'm trying to remember. There's several of them, but from both sides of the river, it's very successful. A little cold on a few of the nights. All right. Here is what's going to be the final piece to the downtown project. Will be the construction of a Welcome Downtown Rock Island gateway sign across from Streetbar Park at First Avenue and 18th Street. The arch will also mark Rock Island's founding date of 1841. So what a great way to enter the downtown and be able to be welcomed. New street, the pedestrian type street lighting, wider sidewalks, new water and sewer lines, just a welcoming community. And this is just the beginning. The hopes are to continue this block after block after block to make sure that the further we go away from the core of downtown continues to look nice. Supporting local favorites downtown. During this construction, the city did help support some of the businesses directly affected by the construction. So we did not try to ignore them or say that it was just, it has to be what it is. We did help support in a number of different ways the businesses downtown the best we could. Clean, safe, and beautiful downtown. Once again, I'm going to come back to Rock Island Downtown Alliance in cooperation with the City Hall and others. Rock Island Downtown Alliance works close with others like DARI, the city departments, and of course the businesses. They created the Ambassador program, which involves picking up trash, helping people find directions, welcoming visitors, helping resolve problems, but most important, have a constant presence throughout the area. So once again, this SSA creates enough, fortunately some money, to be able to have sustainability, but not just structurally, but also with personnel to be able to offer these type of services in the downtown market. And you can see the Public Works in this slide, Public Works putting up the Christmas tree that we had down there and had a lighting. You can see they participate in the parades. We have some of the ambassadors, or at least one of them here tonight, or today, I mean. So once again, if you see him, you can comment, ask him questions. He knows all about Rock Island and downtown, I'll tell you that. He is everywhere, along with his two fellow coworkers. You ought to see the amount of trash they pick up. It's quite a bit, and it keeps them very busy. But it's amazing when we have visitors or a convention come and staying at the Holiday Inn or other places, those guys are there welcoming people at the door. They're opening the door for them and welcoming them to the city. That's what we need and have now. They work with the police department, of course. So it's a great program. Public Works. The next couple of slides, you'll see a few of the streets and park projects that the Public Works did this last year. But to help save dollars and do more, they performed several different processes, like not just total reconstruction of streets, but they'll just resurface and add some life. Then sometimes they'll use an asphalt rejuvenator, and once again, on certain roads, be able to add some life to them without having to spend the money in total reconstruction. And before that's necessary, it can add up to 10 or more years to a street before it has to be totally torn up. They will also help with projects in the parks. A new project we had started this year is speed humps. And you can see in one of the pictures, on the second picture, yep, they're installing a speed hump. This is for residential areas to help slow people down. And we do ask that the residents get involved in this. We'd like to have the people kind of do a little petition in the neighborhood to see if they're all wanting it. And the city will then install some. We have budgeted several a year, if need be, that we have. But once again, it's been asked for by the citizens over the years. We now have it to proceed and put in place. But it's not easy keeping all these streets in great shape. There's a lot of them, they're old, and we're going to keep working hard at keeping up with it. Well, I don't know if anybody remembers, a little over a year ago, the snowstorm we had. Well, we purchased 8 new snowplows this year, several pickups to help with these snowstorms. And I got to say at this point, Rock Island is known for having clean streets when it snows. So we want to make sure they have the proper tools to do that. And you ought to see these trucks. They're quite something. But you know, the Public Works Department, those employees wear a lot of different hats. You know, one day they could be plowing snow, and the next day down in a hole fixing a water main break, and the next day maintaining a street light, or mowing grass, or taking care of some other problems. The same individuals, multi-talented, taking care of the citizens, maintaining essential, but at the same time, make sure they maintain essential services. After several trips to Washington, D.C., we were able to receive a $1 million grant to begin dredging at Sunset Marina. This was a very difficult process, difficult to find money for. People were having troubles from the entrance from the channel all the way into the marina. We were losing business, so it was a necessary project. But we were able to get this, and the Corps of Engineers did the dredging, and it's just the first part of Sunset Marina. Here's another big, exciting project, and very difficult one to achieve. After applying for this grant 4 times in 3 years, and several trips to Washington, D.C., and a year after or 2 after East Moline received theirs, and a lot of help by myself and the staff to receive this large, very competitive grant, not just to reconstruct 11th Street, but it transforms this area to be safer, ADA compliant, a place to walk, a place to bike, a safe place to drive and pull into businesses or your residence or pull out with a turning lane. It makes it attractive, even a good place to cross, a safe place to cross. There's 2 schools on this part. It's from Black Hawk Road to 31st Avenue, just part of 11th Street. It's actually another way that we were able to leverage funds. It's a match grant, but the grant from the federal government was $22.7 million. The state of Illinois pitched in $2.5 million, and the city is putting $3.2 in. So $3.2 million of city money will let us get a $28+ million project done. Putting new sewer lines in, water lines in, wider sidewalks, ADA, better lighting, a street that's safe, and there for a number of years. So this was not a very easy task, and unfortunately this project will take several years to put together. Parks and Recreation. You know, it's amazing what all they can do and filling different spots of the city and making it a fun, entertaining place to be. If you haven't been down to the Thursday night Groove or the Starlight Review both at Schriever Park and Lincoln Park, you're missing something. These are free entertainment venues. They have every Thursday night a free movie down at, or acts down at Schriever Park, Lincoln Park. Janice's Guild puts on presentations up there at Lincoln Park in conjunction with the park board. But they continue to offer, bring entertainment in and offer a place for people to enjoy their family and the river throughout the year. We also rent the places out. We rented quite a few of them, as you can see, to try to generate revenue. You know, a lot of parks require a lot of tax dollars. Our park department, 3/4 of their funds are self-generated, which is quite an amazing accomplishment. 3/4 of their budget they bring in that revenue. So it does not cost the taxpayers as much, and be able to offer a lot of these great venues and opportunities. Of course, we have two great public golf courses. We'll talk about that in a minute. And then Red, White, and Boom down there to show. So what I'd like to do is show another video of a night video, a Rock Island at night video in the Red, White, and Boom. This is the night. This is not Red, White, and Boom evening. It's just a night in the park. One of the Thursday night shows. It's a beautiful setting. If people haven't been down there, get down and enjoy it. Now we have the Red, White, and Boom. Great, once again, collaboration with Davenport and Rock Island. That word keeps coming back, doesn't it? Collaboration and partnership. This Red, White, and Boom, if people remember, unfortunately due to flooding, it was delayed this year. Still had a great turnout, but this year it was delayed. Normally it's July 3rd. Okay, staying with actually the Parks and Rec, we have Whitewater Junction. They serve and help families be healthy, learn, and have fun. As you can see, over 40,000 visitor swimmers. But it's not just that. They get creative and have adult night, swim nights, family fun parties. You can rent it. It's a great place to go and enjoy your family and fun in the Quad Cities. Okay, golf courses. This is talking about Saukey Golf Course, but let me just back up a year. We just replaced the golf clubhouse at Highland Springs and added a classroom to that one for first tee, helping kids learn how to golf, learn the etiquette of golf. And there's one in Bettendorf and throughout the Quad Cities. Once again, closing that loop around the Quad Cities. But this one, we got a $900,000 grant for the construction of Saukey Golf Course Clubhouse, which is under construction as we speak. We have, I think it was 60,000 rounds of golf played on the two courses, which is quite a bit of golf to be able to enjoy. They're beautiful courses. One's a little more difficult than the other, but if you get a chance, go out and enjoy it and see what's happening. American Rescue Plan Acts Fund, ARPA. The city received $26.5 million of ARPA funds several years ago. The city council worked diligently and slowly to decide where to put these funds. And actually, it was a blessing. We thought at first, man, we're behind. We need to work on working faster. But it was a blessing that we were a little slow because we could see what other cities, not just in the Quad Cities here, what they did, mistakes they made, building off of successes they had, and put together, we feel, a pretty comprehensive plan on how to spend this money. And we spend it a lot of different ways. As you can see, some of the large projects here, of course, that I mentioned before, the $3.9 million rebuild downtown. But then at City Hall, we used $1.8 million of it in City Hall doing a major renovation. First one in a long time. I encourage you to come see what has been done. We brought back the original parts of the council chambers and of the administration area. The original light fixtures, the Art Deco look with the rounded corners, the colors. Added some new features, obviously, for technology issues, but it really made a large improvement and brought us up to date where we should be, and once again, preserved history that Rock Island has. So it's a great opportunity. Another one is, actually this one's it's going to take a little time, but water meters, purchasing water meters. So in the near future, we can start billing customers monthly instead of quarterly. Once again, hearing the residents in the city of Rock Island, trying to meet their needs and doing monthly billing. We can do it more automated, saving us labor, and so this is a major project. So through these projects, and there's numbers as you can read through there and different projects and some more dredging at Sunset, but we tried to be diligent in saying, can we take the $26.5 million and make it even more? So we leverage it for grants, as I talked about, and got some state money, federal money on those grants. We tried to do projects that would pay back in the future, would help cut labor costs, would help people be more efficient, more transparent to the public. We brought in, installing as we speak, a new software, financial software program that's going to touch not just the finance department, but public works and the clerk's office and other areas that'll be more efficient to operate, more transparent to the public, using mobile apps to be able to conduct business with the city. And so that will take us into the future. So once again, the council was very diligent of trying to see where to put the money. We help and give money to different social groups, whether it be the YWCA, whether it be for mental illness, homeless, etc. We felt that there was an obligation on our part to be able to continue to help the community and those that live in it. Finance Department. As I mentioned before, that the new financial software, we did, and this, whether it falls under financial, but the City Council, we have not increased the tax levy for the last several years. And that's important. We really are conscious in trying to be thinking of the residents and not adding financial burden. It's not easy. Budgets get tight. Very tough to be able to move forward. But we've been able to do that with great staff being innovative and cutting costs. And the council's been able to act and not raise tax levies. And I talked about the meters, but here's another deal. Talk about employees, and Ian talked about his employees and proud of them. But Finance Director Brian Smith was selected as Citizen of the Year employee under the employee category. Did a great job, continues to do a great job in finance. We're very proud of him and the whole department. Police Department. Where do you begin here? So we chose a new police chief this year. Tim McLeod was sworn in earlier this year, or last year I should say, 2024. He's had a busy year. 2024 was a busy year for him. 25 has not started off great either. But he's up to the challenge, that's for sure. James Morris was sworn in as Deputy Chief of Police. I had the pleasure of working with James on liquor license issues and working downtown. Another quality gentleman. They all have been working extremely hard. For several years, the number of calls for service for the police department have remained constant, between 34,000 and 35,000 in 2024. That's a lot of calls. But the police department received 37,400 this last year of service, 7.6% increase in calls. When you consider that the department was working with a 13% reduction in officers that we had budgeted, and to have more calls, the police department is definitely doing more with less. But interesting enough, as you can see here on this slide, crime is down. A great program that we have started and followed in the footsteps of Davenport is the Group Violence Intervention Program. And real quick, that is working with, I'll say youth, but there's some young adults that are maybe heading down the wrong path, to talk to them and sit down with them with different individuals and have a custom conversation instead of saying, let's help you go down the right path. Let's turn the direction. Get this, we had 15 custom interviews like that. 60% of them have not reoffended yet. So we want to continue to expand that and grow with that success and see if we can help these individuals turn their life around for whatever reason it is that they've been having. But overall, the violent crime was reduced by 9% last year. You can see these numbers, though. Violent gun crimes dropped 21%. Firearms seized increased by 37%, getting guns off the street. And the number of stolen vehicles, I know we've seen in the press lately a number of them. That was some in 2025. But believe it or not, in 2024, it was a 6.5% reduction in car thefts. Still too many, but they're working hard at getting a handle on that. Fire department hired 11 new firefighters, purchased 2 new fire engines. Training is very important, both in police and fire, but the fire department logged over 21,000 hours in training. It's a lot. Added 2 new ambulances, or not added, but replaced 2 new ambulances. And you can see here the number of calls, and those keep increasing, the emergency medical calls increasing dramatically. We're there to help people when they need it. I got to do another shout out. Lieutenant Dave Wolf received the Firefighter of the Year award from the Knights of Columbus and the Community Caring Conference. Once again, recognizing our great employees. Now, let's watch a video for the recruitment of firefighters. In an effort to, in the best and brightest in the city, the fire department hired Tag Communications, or D-Films if you want to call it that, a few months ago to create and recruit a recruitment video. You'll see the video features our very own firefighters with a local company, Rock Island Company, Rock Island Firefighters.
Helping the community, it's definitely worth it. I do this kind of work because I like making a difference in someone's day, and then when someone is having the worst day of their life, I'd like to be there for them.
Just the camaraderie that we built and the team that we kind of built, I think it's just a good place to make long-lasting friends.
At Rock Island, we have great benefits. We have a good working relationship with the city of Rock Island. Our pension benefits are great. We have really good health care insurance.
Working at the Rock Island Fire Department makes me feel proud.
I think it's a great job to have.
How about that? Great. Didn't hire any actors. Those are firefighters. Martin Luther King Community Center, Martin Luther King Jr. Community Center. You know, they embarked several years ago on a revitalization plan that they're now implementing. It was partially funded by John Deere Foundation in the city of Rock Island several years ago. And they just made a presentation last night to the city council and how they're moving forward in teaching and working with individuals, whether it be in school, young adults, or just in the neighborhood, about being sustainable, planting trees, or how to look for a job. Try to build self-esteem. They got 5 different working groups with volunteers. They've hired some support staff, but have 5 working groups with volunteers working with different projects to help revitalize the West End. The other one, if you haven't enjoyed, we all enjoy parades. We had Labor Day parade. They put on a great event called Soul of the City event this last year. They have a parade, bouncy houses, dunk tanks that I got the honor of being dunked. But at the same time, they had booths there with vendors helping people finding products or finding things that might help them in life, whether it be Metrolink, et cetera. They continue to work at serving the people that need help. They served over 7,000 meals for Thanksgiving. Some of those people might not have had a meal or had a warm meal. The after school day camps, summer camps, et cetera. Another neat deal, they built a STEAM lab, as you can read here, helping kids learn. So they play a role in a lot of people's lives in a lot of different ways. Safe place to be, learning, trying to build self-esteem. It doesn't ever end. And then working with the families. The library. The library last year celebrated 150 years serving in Rock Island. They did, then also this year they were documented with what's called Quad City Passport Sign, recognizing a number of places throughout the Rock Island with historic value and story. It's also working with kids. They supplied 3,700 glasses for kids to watch the solar eclipse, teaching kids about this event. The library patrons donate a lot of products to the library. And as I said before, the library is not just books anymore. I guess I'm old enough, used to think it's just books. They lease out or lend out hotspots, fishing poles, sewing machines. They have book clubs, all different kinds of events they put on all year long. When I give the Rock Island update, every time I'm speaking, there's a library event. I can't tell you how many library events they have, serving the people in both locations. All right, we're at the point of 2025, and this is just a few things that are happening. We've talked about a few of them. The new $40 million federal, call it courthouse, but there'll be 7 different federal agencies in this building. What's nice about this, it's on the property tax rolls. It's privately held, leased to the federal government, so it'll pay property taxes. Another new revenue for the city of Rock Island. A lot of good paying jobs downtown, visiting businesses. Of course, I talked about the rebuild downtown. Reconstruction, this one I haven't talked about, is First Avenue along River Park is going to have a road diet and reconstructed this next year. Just like you saw on 11th Street, the center lane will be turns. There'll be a bike path along there. It'll be safe for walking, easier to cross and access River Park. And so that is coming in 2025. Road repairs, we actually implemented a maintenance street fee that will generate $1.5 million or maybe more additional funds that we can put into street repair. As I mentioned before, we need all we can get in that area, and we're going to work very hard at doing more streets than we've ever done. MLK Center is going to be recognized for its 50th anniversary come March. More work down at Sunset Marina, dredging, docks, electrical work. Here's another one we just voted on last night, City Council. Nature's Treatment Cannabis Dispensary. Great add to the city of Rock Island, revenue-wise, beautiful building they're going to build, along with a truck stop to bring more visitors, people to stay here. It's going to be right across from this casino in a land that was donated by Riverstone to the city of Rock Island. So look forward to that in 2025. Not just the dispensary being there, but it's new revenue. It brings people from out of town, stops people on the highway. Gas sales, diesel sales, another big advantage for this end of town. It's at this point looking to be an over $12 million project. And so we're looking forward to that. There's many others that we've talked about or that we've got in the works. The year is just beginning, and so we look forward to a great, prosperous 2025. With that, I would like to say thank you for coming. Appreciate everybody being here, listening to me, and let's have a safe day and week. Thank you.